Thanks for having me today. I'm Steph. I'm the founder of Body Banter, and Body Banter is a Hong Kong registered charity. And what we do is we work with young people, try to spark this sense of curiosity and courage as they start to talk about topics related to body image and mental health. And this is something I'm super passionate about because it's so tied to my personal experiences growing up here and experiencing my own body image concerns. So it means a lot to me that I'm able to do work like this today. I'll just speak first to the experience of receiving the award on the day. I think I was really excited to know my fellow nominees, Sophia and Bailey, on the day and to know of their work. That meant a lot to me because it showed me that there are so many passionate young people carving out their own paths in areas that they're so passionate in. So it was inspiring for me, first of all, to know that there are young changemakers out there in Hong Kong who are so passionate about their missions in diverse areas. The aftermath of getting the award has been just seeing again the community that's available for me in terms of female empowerment in Hong Kong. So the first thing is that I actually gained a really important mentor figure in my life. The person who gave me the award on the day, Ms. Jessica Ng, is currently one of my strongest mentor figures. She champions my work in Body Banter and my personal growth. So that was really important. I didn't expect to meet someone important in my life that day. And are lots of organizations out there in Hong Kong doing work that is adjacent to mine. The WI network is so comprehensive, and there are so many people doing diverse and meaningful things in Hong Kong. And that's one of the biggest important changes that have been made in my life since I received the award. Just understanding the community a bit better and tapping into those amazing organizations. The biggest motivating force for me in terms of wanting to empower other young women is feeling very disempowered as a young woman when I was younger and growing up in Hong Kong. So in my teens, I experienced an eating disorder, and prior to that, had a lot of body image struggles and just not feeling like I had the language to describe my distress at the time. Young people don't feel like they can share about their most honest emotions with parents and peers. So I think at the time when I was struggling with just fear of uncertainty, anxiety about the future, fear about whether or not I would be accepted because of the way I looked, the way I was, I didn't know how to say that out loud, and it manifested as body image concerns because advertisements I would see would say, once you change your body, you're going to be able to be loved and viewed as successful. And so I think that's the motivating force behind why I want to show young women and men that they don't have to subscribe to a certain version of what society expects them to look like, to be like, in order to be accepted, in order to shine in their own right. There are two things that I've really learned in my experiences. And the first is that does not make assumptions about how certain groups of individuals are going to respond to a workshop that I do or me bringing up a sensitive topic. And the second thing I've learned is not to be scared of the awkwardness that comes with talking about sensitive and previously taboo topics. So with the first thing, not making assumptions, I'll share a story about that. I remember one time I was going into a school for a workshop, and prior to that workshop, most of the participants in the groups that I worked with were female. And I made the assumption that body image concerns or women would be more likely to broach these topics confidently. And what happened was that in that workshop, more men spoke up than women did. And they had personal experiences to share. The manifestations of the ways that they experienced body image concerns were different. So their insecurities were slightly different. You know, there are different ways that people experience body image concerns, but doesn't make anyone else's experience any less important to listen to. So that's the first thing I've learned, not making assumptions about what other people are experiencing, always being curious to know what other people might be experiencing and learning from them. The second, not fearing the awkwardness that comes with broaching sensitive topics. Young people who are very understandably anxious about talking about body image and mental health. And you walk in and you know they care because it's very topical. People are impacted by these concerns on a daily basis even. But because teenagers are so nervous about gaining social approval, I go through my workshop as I would, and often I'm surprised by the person or the young people who do come up to me. It's almost always that really quiet person who looked like they were having the worst time in the workshop. The person who was like falling asleep at the back. That's the person who comes up at the end or sends me a DM on Instagram. So I just have learned that it might seem awkward in the moment. You can never expect who's going to come up to you afterwards, who has a story to share. So those are my two biggest takeaways. I think there is such a vast amount of information that they're facing right now. And at the same time, there seems to be a conflicting relationship between things that they know at their core they want to be. Let's say they want to be respectful and loving to their family members. And at the same time, they have social media influences telling them that they need to, let's say, go on a diet. They need to not eat certain foods. Really concrete example of the conflicting relationship between what I wish to have, the value system of I wish to be a good family member, to subscribe to the norms that is going to make me acceptable in today's environment. So I think that's a huge part and a huge challenge of trying to reconcile conflicting expectations for what a woman should be. Women are expected to be so many things at the same time, and it's impossible to impress everyone. So I think that's the biggest challenge. There are more and more influences because of that proliferation of information online and in person in communities. We're more connected than ever. But that also means we have more expectations than ever. We're aware of more people's expectations than we ever were.